Hi, Peter. Uh, I'm now gonna do my reflection on my meeting with Chastin Kahuna. I actually ran into him right after you told me that that his venture last semester, or last year, I believe, was uh, some sort of vertical farming, some sort of urban farming. And I was curious, so Um, it just so happened that I ran into him right as I was leaving Fran's after class, and gosh, that must have been. Bear with me for a moment. I believe that was on the last day of February or the 7th. I think it was Wednesday, March 7th. So I met with Chastin and talked to him about his progress that he made in researching urban farming. He had a very different model than me. So getting into the observations, he had a model where he was going to try to use people's backyards and provide incentive for them to grow produce. So very different business model from mine, where I would be in control of all of the farming operations and as well as distribution. But he did have some important points to offer in terms of what he found out about the growing operations and the benefits of hydroponics versus aquaponics versus aeroponics. He told me about some of the research he did on that. So I learned a little bit about that. I didn't learn very much that I didn't know, but it was important, I think, for me to communicate with him about what potential he saw in urban farming and to talk to him, sort of compare and contrast our business models, not to devalue Chastin's business model, but I feel that my way of going about vertical farming is more viable, just because I'm sort of keeping control a little bit more centralized, definitely keeping the location more centralized, and I think that will work wonders in making the credibility a little bit more serious, rather than sort of a, hey, we're going to get all these people to do this thing and hopefully it works out, as opposed to, we're going to build this facility and just produce produce from it at a very efficient rate and then distribute it to retailers. So I think that in learning that and in sort of analyzing the difference between our business models, I'm going to consider the case he made for aeroponics, as well as continue to develop my business plan, because I think that my big takeaway from this from my meeting with Chastin is that you can have a good idea in theory, but if you don't anticipate the realistic economics of it, it's going to be very difficult to make successful in this cruel world. So I think that I am going to really fortify my business plan based on my meeting with him, and make sure that it's quite rock solid in terms of its feasibility. And that was important for me to have that meeting with him and experience. Thanks for watching.